The Martin County Judge Executive has announced his resignation, what's leading to his early departure, and what comes next for the county. And there's no place like home, and one Perry County couple is anxious to get back to theirs. The problem, they say they are not able to receive any assistance after the flood.
Plus, definitely time to bundle up if you're headed out to football tonight, especially as those sunsets continue to work before 7 o'clock. The latest on our Colt kickoffs coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Martin County is looking for a new judge executive as the current judge looks toward a new role focused on region-wide development. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the transition.
Martin County Judge Executive Colby Kirk is leaving the judge's seat behind.
My background, my education, my skills and experience have all prepared me to work in the practice in the field of economic development.
Kirk, who took the seat in January after the death of former Judge Executive Victor Sloan, will take over as the president and CEO of One East Kentucky at the end of October.
I want to do what I can in these last few weeks to ensure that day-to-day operations continue to run smoothly and that we have time to do a good transition for whoever will follow in my footsteps.
Leaving an opening at the helm of the Martin County Fiscal Court for the fourth time since March 2021, but taking with him what he believes is crucial experience that can bring economic growth to the region.
I think the skills that I've gained while serving as Judge Executive in Martin County will certainly help me empathize with local leaders. I know the pressure they're under. I know the day-to-day work that they face.
Kirk says he believes the county is in a good place financially. So though he was uncontested for the position this November, it is a good time for a write-in candidate to seize the opportunity to lead.
Judge Sloan and then I took over after him. I had laid a lot of groundwork and established a lot of systems in the operation of the fiscal court that I think that whoever steps into this role will have an easy transition.
Saying the decision was hard, but he will continue his work to improve the county.
I want to work with whoever steps into this so that they're successful for our community and that we can bring economic development here as well.
By expanding his focus on the entire region. In Martin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Kirk says write-in candidates can put their name in the ring for judge executive anytime between now and October 28th, ahead of the election next month. The Mountain Eagle reports that the Mount Citizen rather, reports that the first write-in candidate has already applied. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we hear more.
And continuing to watch a beautiful blue sky all across the mountains here tonight. Plenty of beautiful weather on the way as we head into our Friday night. Here's a look from UVA Wise. It's all quiet there, maybe a couple of tiny clouds. 57, we just ticked over the current reading, so we're cooling off quick, especially over there in Southwest Virginia. But look at that dew point. The dew point is at 27. So yes, it is very dry outside. A look around the region, current temperatures, middle and upper 60s. Jacksboro's now back to 68. They were at 70 just a little while ago and already falling into the low 60s across portions of the Big Sandy. All quiet on satellite and radar, pushing forward through tonight as we approach some of those kickoffs. We should stay mostly clear through the evening hours. That'll help us drop into those lower 50s by 10 o'clock, but we'll start to move those temperatures back up. As we head into the overnight, we'll wake up near 60, so mostly clear and breezy tonight. Just have to watch that outdoor burning because of the very favorable fire weather in place. Details on that and when showers look to try to move back in coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A Johnson County man was arrested in August and charged with the murder of his own 12-year-old daughter. WYMT's Olivia Calfee has more on his court appearance today.
Stacy Collins is being held at the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. A warrant for his arrest was served by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office after Collins' 12-year-old daughter, Stacia Collins, was murdered. Officials with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office say Collins was found with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and shortly after, investigators found his daughter's body almost 2 miles away. The investigation is still ongoing, and Collins is being held on a $50,000 cash bond. On Friday, the court reviewed the bond after the Commonwealth attorney asked them to go back and look at the amount. After review, the judge set a full hearing on October 19th to discuss the bond further. In Johnson County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
A woman is in critical condition after she was hit by a semi-truck last night on Interstate 75. State police say the collision happened near mile marker 34 in Laurel County shortly after 10:30 p.m. The woman was identified as 22-year-old Billy McVeigh of Corbin. She was flown to UK hospital for treatment. Troopers say they do not know why the woman was on the interstate. A Pine Knot man is under investigation for manslaughter after deputies found a body in McCreary County. Sheriff's deputies found the body on September 18th in a wooded area behind a church after they got a complaint of a bad smell in the area. The body was identified as 32-year-old Justin Musgrove of Stearns. Musgrove was reported missing on September 11th. Kentucky State Police detectives arrested 52-year-old David King of Pine Knot. He was charged with manslaughter, tampering with evidence, and wanton endangerment. A Monticello man is facing several drug charges after police say he sold drugs to 2 undercover sheriff's deputies. 40-year-old Eric Wallen reportedly sold 3.5 grams of meth to Wayne County deputies. Within 2 hours of getting a search warrant, deputies searched the house and found 6 plastic baggies with approximately 15 more grams of meth, 1.5 tablets of suspected Suboxone, a small bag of marijuana, digital scales, and more than $240 in cash. Wallen is charged with 2 counts of meth trafficking, marijuana possession, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. COVID-19 numbers appear to be decreasing across the state. While several eastern Kentucky counties are in the yellow, as you see there, only Letcher County remains in the red, the only red county in the state. Most of the state is now green. As of October 10th, the state reported the positivity rate at just under 8% at 7.91. More than 3,000 cases and 81 new deaths were reported during the past week. In total, Kentucky has had more than 1.5 million cases of COVID and more than 17,000 deaths. The Knott County Circuit Court Clerk's Office will reopen on October 31st after being closed since July's flooding. Ongoing repairs to the Judicial Center will cause both circuit and district court judges to conduct court remotely. The Clerk's Office is located in the Judicial Center at 53 West Main Street in Hindman. 2.5 months after the devastating flooding, many still have a lot of questions about where they are going to live. Some are choosing to stay on their property in tents, some are in trailers, and some question if life will ever return to normal. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to a couple living at a state park in Perry County, unsure of when they will be able to return home.
Breathitt County.
Brian and Rebecca Gibson have lived at the Buckhorn State Resort Park since not long after the flood. They have no clue when they're going to be able to go home.
We've applied for everything and can't get no help anywhere with the septic tank.
Their home was washed away. FEMA helped with a new one, but now they need thousands for a septic tank and an electric pole. They've seen reports about millions raised in assistance and question where it's going.
We haven't seen any of it.
Well, we got $500 from Team Kentucky, but out of the millions and millions and millions that's been raised, I mean, why can't they just give each family at least $5,000 to help them get back home?
Elsewhere across the region, there are some living in tents or trailers with questions on how they will repair, rebuild, or replace their homes. The man living here simply said, "I don't know what I'm going to do." The Gibsons say many feel the same way.
It's about the same story here. Everybody's got their own unique story, you know, and some people were renting and there's nowhere to rent, you know, but everybody's basically saying the same thing. Where's all this help? They see all these benefits, but we don't get to see much of it.
Some of the people living in tents are choosing to stay on their property. Many of the travel trailers are in community settings miles from people's homes. There's no good solution, and many question what the future holds.
I mean, I know it takes money to house us here, you know, and feed us, but beyond that, I mean, it would be cheaper just to give us what we need to get back in our home.
Gibsons say they appreciate the state park room, but ultimately, there's no place like home. In Perry County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
One state lawmaker told us he believes the housing situation is causing a true humanitarian crisis, especially with cold weather moving in. Eastern Kentucky flood survivors have only 2 weeks left to apply for federal disaster assistance. The deadline is Friday, October 28th. People in Breathitt, Clay, Floyd, Knott, Lee, Leslie, Letcher, Magoffin, Owsley, Perry, Pike, and Whitley counties who suffered damage during the July flooding are eligible to apply. FEMA assistance can cover rental assistance, temporary housing, home repairs, personal property losses, and other disaster-related needs not covered by insurance. If you want to apply, you can visit a disaster recovery center. You can find a list of those on our website, or you can call the FEMA helpline at 800-621-3362. You can apply online at disasterassistance.gov, or you can use the FEMA mobile app. Eastern Kentucky native and rising country music artist Haley Newman is joining Chris Stapleton, Dwight Yoakam, Tyler Childers, and others in their efforts to raise money for flood victims. Newman says she will donate 100% of the proceeds from her new single, Enjoy the View, to Kentucky flood survivors.
Well, coming up, the latest breakdown on our Friday night football forecast and how our game of the week and our Kentucky game forecast look coming up. Plus,
more than 30 musicians gathered in Harlan for the second annual Believers Festival.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen.